Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David.
I'm Brian.
And we're back on another review this week because Netflix was like, hey, because we're gutting our animation department, have 2 kaiju anime in as many weeks. So this week we'll be talking about Pacific Rim The Black, Season 2, the final season of The Black.
Yeah. Sadly.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into that as we go, but because now God knows if we're going to be getting any more Pacific Rim content.
Probably
ever.
not.
But we might discuss that once we're done talking about the show itself. But before we do that, we of course have some news. So Brian, do you want to start us off?
I think I started off last week.
I know, but I wanted to read the second story.
But I wanted to read the second story.
Brian, I'm the one who's read the books.
That's fair. Okay. All right. Well, starting things off with a bit of a bummer. Wow. You always start things off like on a lighter note. You usually leave the passings till later.
I usually just like put the stories in as they come. I don't sort them anyway.
That's fair enough.
Also, your name on Discord for a while was Bummer Brian, so
this is true. It is still that.
Exactly.
On a lot of
so
things.
There you go.
It's still that on PlayStation. So, anyways, all right. So starting things off, a bit of a bummer. Unfortunately, actor Hiroyuki Watanabe has unfortunately passed away on May 3rd at the age of 66. Watanabe was known for his role as Major and later Colonel.
Colonel?
Colonel?
Colonel.
I should know.
Colonel. Brian. Holy shit.
Shit. I should know this
that
too.
That was terrible.
That was really bad.
Oh my god.
Colonel, oh no, in Shizuke Kaneko's Gamera trilogy, as well as Akio Ishimura in Ultraman Gaia and Commander Hirose in Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. What's worse is that the cause of death was reportedly suicide by hanging. As we've said with every other tokusatsu-related death over the past year, it's a shame, but it's tragic. It's especially tragic to lose someone to suicide, and our hearts are with Watanabe's family. Yeah, that's real bad.
Yeah, the worst part about it is that like a lot of news outlets, when the story broke, they weren't mentioning the suicide thing. Because I think, I mean, that like suicide, that's a big, there's a big like kind of taboo around it in Japan, I believe. So that's probably why a lot of news outlets weren't reporting on that fact. But like, you know, it's I still don't think it's important to know the cause of death. You know, I mean, I don't want to make this like a bigger thing, but you know, men's mental health is kind of a thing that gets swept under the rug a lot, and who knows what it, especially with suicide being a taboo in Japan, like who knows what could have happened had he been able to get help, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with some people, like they go through their entire life without having any sort of support structure, and eventually they just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of places in the world, including the US, that have like a really shitty stigma around mental health for women, mental health for men. Like it's different all over the world, but there's always some kind of stigma basically anywhere. But Japan does have a problem with that. I mean, they have the suicide forest, which is like the big the big thing, but like, you know, even beyond that, they have, you know, issues there as well. So it is a bummer, and I feel really bad.
Yeah,
that is a bummer.
Yeah, because I like every time I watch, like he's not like, they're not. I mean, I haven't seen Ultraman Gaia, but he's not. He's more of a supporting character in both the Gamera trilogy and GMK. But like when the scenes he's in, he's very, very good because he's like this very hard. Well, in Gamera, he kind of starts off as like kind of naive because he's because he gets promoted later. But especially in GMK, he's like this very hardened soldier. He's like the main character's dad's like kind of second in command, and he's a very fun character to watch. But man, it's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, of course.
Rest in peace. Yeah. Damn. And just, if you listener ever having any issues, feeling like you may hurt yourself, please get help.
Yeah. I mean, on a similar note, Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia murder also just passed away.
I did hear about that.
And if the band's post on Facebook and all their social medias was anything to go by, I think it was also suicide because they put the number for the suicide prevention line in their post, and he was one of the people. I mean, Trevor was like someone who really carried the torch for like underground death and black metal, and he was one of the people who got Oxygen Destroyer like more widespread, more people to know about them. So it really sucks about Trevor Sternad. I really like Black Dahlia Murder, and I probably wouldn't know about. I mean, I probably wouldn't know about Oxygen Destroyer without him. But yeah. So yeah, if you are feeling those kinds of thoughts, please do get help.
Yeah, it may seem like there's not, there's not like any way to help, or it may feel hopeless, but there are support structures out there. Especially on the coasts. Middle America is a little iffy with their mental health institutions, but there's always places you can find help. So, next story is yours, Dave.
Yes, let's get away from the darker stuff. On a lighter note, here's some news that I'm very, very excited to share with you all. Chad Stahelski. Okay, I keep screwing up the pronunciation of this guy's last name. Chad Stahelski.
It's okay, I just said colonel, so
that's true, and I don't think that. But you know what? You did pretty good on the Japanese names. I'm very proud of you for that.
I have been trying.
Yeah,
a lot more.
And then
I'm just very tired.
And then
I'm
you
very
screwed everything
tired.
up by saying colonel instead of colonel.
Listen. You and I both remarked on how tired we were today.
That is true.
And I got a grand total about 3.5 hours of sleep last night.
That's
so
that's
get
pretty
off
rough.
my case,
That's
please.
pretty rough.
I know.
Okay. Anyways, Chad Stahelski, director of all 3 and soon to be 4 John Wick films, has announced that he will be directing and acting as showrunner for a television adaptation of author Jeremy Robinson's novel Project Nemesis. The book was originally released in 2013 and details the rampage of a kaiju Nemesis, who is a hybrid creature made of spliced DNA from a murdered little girl named Mygo and a long-dead alien monster believed to have spawned the mythological Greek goddess of vengeance, Nemesis. It is a super fun read, a book that I actually recently read not too long ago. There's 5, technically 6 books in the Nemesis saga. I have only read the first 2 plus the technically 6th one because it wasn't initially part of it, and then he brought it into the canon with one of the later books. But yeah, I am very, very happy for Jeremy. He is a really cool dude, and to see him get one of his works adapted for the screen by the guy who created John Wick is super cool. And Matt Frank was also the guy who designed all the kaiju for the saga, which is really cool as well. And I can't wait to see this when this finally airs. Not to mention, the climax takes place right here in Boston. I hope they film it here because that'll be really fucking cool.
Watch them film it in Vancouver.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They film everything in Vancouver.
But like there are like the climax.
The tax breaks.
I know they do, but like they're like at the Prudential Center and stuff like that in the book. It's kind of hard to like film to do that like not at locations, you know.
Well, what a lot of movies do is they like when they're at landmarks that like they need, they shoot on site.
Yeah.
And then when it's just generic city that they don't really need to
Yeah, they'll
be
shoot
like
that in Vancouver.
they'll shoot it in Vancouver or whatever city will give them the the
Mhm.
best tax break or whatever. I remember that like a lot of like Marvel movies are filmed in like Vancouver.
I mean,
'Cause
a lot of big budget Hollywood blockbusters are shot in it's either Vancouver.
wow,
Wow. There's a random Boston accent coming out there.
Jesus.
Either Vancouver or Georgia or in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's right. Georgia's the other big one.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Those are the two big ones for shooting blockbusters. But yeah, I'm really pumped for this. I have no idea when it is going to be airing. I hope soon because I believe both Jeremy and Matt had posted like, yeah, we've been like trying to hash this out for the past 6 or 7 years. And I'm like, oh my god, okay. It's been in development for a while now.
Hey, if it does film in Boston, you have an obligation to apply as an extra.
Either that or like a PA or something.
Sure. I mean, you probably may be able to get some kind of role because you've got. I don't know.
I am a film boy after all.
You're a film boy. You may be able to.
Certified film boy.
It's true.
But yeah, I'm really pumped. I'm probably gonna reread book number 2 very shortly, and then finally read the other books because I never did. So yeah, but yeah. In the meantime, check out Project Nemesis, and also the comic book adaptation that Matt Frank also did all the art for as well. It's very good.
I am yet to read it, so maybe I should get on that.
It's good. Having reread it recently, a lot of some of the comedy is a little dated because it's a lot of like pop culture stuff that was relevant in like 2013. So and the main character John Hudson, like he's very sarcastic and like having. I used to find it more kind of endearing. Now he's just kind of annoyingly sarcastic, and I don't know if that'll carry over into the next few books, but we'll see. It's still fun though. It's very violent. It's a very violent story. Like people like Nemesis eats people, and they go into like graphic detail about it too.
Hell yeah, that's cool. I like that. All right,
one of the earliest things in the story when she's like when she first like breaks out of like the containment center, she like attacks a small town that's like having a parade, and it's told from the point of view of the mayor, and the mayor. So obviously the mayor gets eaten, and like the book like is like describing the feeling of being digested by Nemesis's stomach acids. I'm like, oh my god, this is messed up. Yeah, it's awesome.
Holy shit!
I hope they keep that in for the show.
Yeah, well, now that you say that, like, it's probably going to be a pretty violent show. Yeah, I mean, again, did it say what it's going to be on at all?
It did not. No.
No.
I mean, it could have. I'm not sure, but I feel like I would have seen that. But
it's probably going to be on a streaming service. I doubt that they would air it.
Yeah, I can't see that being on cable TV.
I am actually. I really don't think that it'll be Netflix.
Yeah, it's being developed for Sony. So
Sony has streaming. Sony does streaming.
But do they have like their own streaming service?
No, they don't. They used to have their own streaming service, but they mothballed it. No, who do they even partner with now?
I don't even know. I don't recognize a lot of these things.
I don't know. I don't care. As long as
it'll be a while before we see it.
It'll be with someone, yeah. And with the director of John Wick, like that's.
Oh, they do produce streaming television shows. They've done Cobra Kai, The Boys, For All Mankind, Blacklist, all of which are pretty good.
Aren't those all on Netflix though?
For All Mankind, I believe is Apple TV Plus.
Oh, Okay, so then
They kind of just do
give
whatever.
distributing rights. They give
Yeah.
distributing rights to whoever,
Yeah.
really.
So who knows what Nemesis will be on? It'll it'll be a while, but regardless, we will definitely update you on anything that comes out for this show because it's gonna be good. I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, on the next news story, we have our first bit of casting news for one of the next entries in the MonsterVerse. Still unclear as to which is coming first, but the next film in the franchise, which is being directed by Godzilla vs Kong director Adam Wingard, and remains untitled, has its first actor in the one and only Dan Stevens. I love Dan Stevens. Not my words, they're Dave's. Dave's wrote the script. He is legitimately one of my favorite actors. If you haven't seen Legion, I highly recommend you do so. This is not Stevens' first outing with first outing with Wingard, as he was the lead actor in The Guest, and it also isn't his first run-in with giant monsters, as we saw him alongside Anne Hathaway in Colossal. We're already off to a great start here, I think. I just hope that the script doesn't end up utterly wasting his talents. Yes. That is exciting, because I do like Dan Stevens.
He's so
as well.
good. I love him. He's a very underrated actor, I feel.
Yeah.
God
God damn. If it is even a fraction of the movie that Colossal was, I'd be happy.
I mean, I doubt that'll be the case, but
Colossal's just so good, man.
it really is. It really is.
I watched it again like a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
and
Very
it's
nice.
just- it just holds up so
Yeah,
well.
but yeah, Dan Stevens, what a fucking dude. I mean, did you see Apostle on Netflix from the guy who did the raid?
That is a movie that has been on my watch list for about a year or two.
All right, so Brian, I know you like slow burn horror because we both like slow burn horror.
Yes, I do
You will
love slow
fucking
burn horror.
love Apostle.
Okay. Okay.
It is.
Yeah, probably.
It is nuts. I love it so much.
Well, because I saw the trailer for it and I was like, oh, that looks like something I'd probably like.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it was on Netflix, I think, and
Yeah,
I
it's
just
a
added it
Netflix
to
original.
Yeah, I added it to my list, and then I just forgot it was on there.
As what happens with most things I add to my and any streaming service watch list.
It's because I don't watch Netflix that much.
Mhm.
Like I usually watch HBO Max.
Yeah, the superior streaming service.
HBO Max, like honestly, anyone out there who doesn't have an HBO Max subscription, cancel your Netflix subscription and get HBO Max.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean,
like
now
it's
that
so much better.
now that the Black is done, I have nothing keeping me on tied to Netflix.
Maybe HBO Max will pick up any future Pacific Rim.
I mean, Pacific
stuff,
Rim
'cause
is it's owned by Warner Brothers.
yeah, they. I mean, they
So,
like,
you know.
and they have the original Pacific Rim on there, and not the sequel because they know how much people hate it.
Yeah, I still can't believe we had to fucking pay money to watch that.
Yeah, I
That
know.
was
I hate it.
ridiculous. Oh
Mhm.
well. But yeah, Dan Stevens in Untitled Monsterverse movie. Let's go. I'm excited.
I am also excited, but I really agree that I just hope that the script is just
Yeah, so here's the thing.
better than what we've gotten.
Godzilla vs. Kong was the first thing I saw Alexander Skarsgård in. And then the next movie I saw him in was The fucking Northman.
Oh shit!
Which is like night and fucking day in terms of character, like acting
Yeah,
and writing.
I mean, he wasn't particularly bad in Godzilla
He
vs. Kong.
wasn't, but like his talents were wasted.
he just didn't do anything.
Exactly.
He kind of just like meandered around, talked about his dead brother or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he revived Kong at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that is literally all that happened. So,
Yeah.
you know.
He was a vehicle for other characters to do work.
Mhm.
Yeah. But goddamn, the Northman, fucking incredible.
That gets
Absolutely incredible.
multiple chef's kisses from me.
Yes, absolutely. I will talk to anyone who will listen about that movie.
So will I. It's so fucking good.
I
Anyways,
still like The Lighthouse more, though.
I'm still kind of undecided. I'd have to rewatch The Northman, I think, to really decide. I mean, I think I still like The Lighthouse more, but like, it's very close. It's very, very close.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, though, saying which one is better is kind of dumb because they are very different movies.
Yeah, and I think it's finally time for me to rewatch The Witch because again I didn't like it that much when I first saw it, but now that I've
Oh,
loved
yeah.
both The Lighthouse and The Northman, I'm like, all right, I think it's finally time I got to rewatch this. Maybe I'll actually like appreciate it more.
I watch The Witch every October.
Really nice.
Yeah, I find it to be a very good Halloween movie.
I can see that. Um, anyways,
It just
moving on.
captures the cold, absolute misery of New England foresty areas so well.
That is true, but you're not in New England
It's
anymore,
so
Brian.
great. But when it came out, I was.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I guess I guess that works. Anyways, moving on. Unfortunately, another passing. This one is a little less connected to tokusatsu than the last, but honestly, I feel like if any American production could be considered tokusatsu, it would be this one. Fred Ward, star of Tremors and Tremors 2 Aftershocks, passed away at the age of 79. So far, no cause of death has been given. That's kind of all we got, but it sucks because I think Tremors is like the only thing I've actually seen him in, but goddamn is he a delight in that movie.
Yeah, no, that first Tremors movie is legit.
Yeah.
I never really watched the sequels.
I haven't seen any of the sequels.
I think I saw the second one on like TV way back.
I've heard
but
the
I don't
second one is like
remember.
not terrible. It's not as good as the first, obviously, but
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it. So I just remember watching like some of them while they were on TV.
mhm.
But I watched the like the first one somewhat recently, and that movie is like
It's so good.
that movie's so good, and it is so disappointing to hear that it bombed so badly when it came out.
I know. It's a shame.
Because that financial failure basically doomed the rest of the series
Mhm.
to Kevin Bacon never returned because he's like it was a bomb. And I respect him that he didn't want to continue on with a franchise that wouldn't be financially successful. And then the rest of the movies and the shows just got like less and less budget to work with.
Yeah,
And then
increasingly
eventually,
more
like
Sci-Fi Channel E.
well, then there was increasing studio oversight. They wanted this and this, and then it's just a bummer to hear about. I learned through all this stuff on Dead Meat, that YouTube channel I tried to show you.
Yeah.
It covered all the Tremors stuff, and hearing about it was really endearing because they had such a dedicated team behind it. But I also
Mhm.
felt so bad because they kept getting less and less budget to work with, and it was just such a bummer.
Yeah, and I know they tried
It's
to
they had all the stuff they wanted to do, they just couldn't do it because they just didn't have the time or money.
yeah, and I know they tried to do it as a TV show a couple years ago.
They
And I
did.
think with Kevin Bacon too, but Sci-Fi didn't pick it up.
No,
So that
no,
pilot
it
is
didn't.
just gone forever, I guess. Until
Yeah.
someone leaks it.
But yeah, I mean that first movie, that it has some absolutely incredible practical effects.
That's why I said
yeah.
if any American production could be considered tokusatsu, it would be Tremors.
Yeah, well, because they use miniatures in that.
Mhm.
They built there's shots where they have miniature worms or
Yeah.
whatever what do they call them?
Graboids.
Graboids. That's the name. I knew it started with grab. Anyways, they built miniatures of that. They built like semi miniature sets, and then they had one big practical worm that was semi animatronic and also had a bunch of people in it. It was
Mhm.
insane. Yeah, that's a bummer though. That's a
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I don't know what else he's been in, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
Let me look. I can tell you, he was in the sequel.
I said that.
He was in Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know these.
I don't know. I mean I know the fucking the Leonard Skinner song.
He was in Road Trip.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either.
Wait, let me put
He
it-
was in a lot of movies. None of them are things that I
He
know
was in
about.
2 episodes of the 1970s Incredible Hulk TV series.
That is something.
That is.
That's something. Yeah. He was in True Detective.
Oh, okay. I've seen the first couple
Yeah.
episodes of that. I should probably finish it.
I have never seen it.
The first
I'm,
two
I'm really.
episodes.
If I'm bad at what.
He was in Joe Dirt. Everyone likes Joe Dirt. I've never seen it, but I know people like it.
I've never seen it either.
He
If
was
I'm bad at watching movies, I'm even worse at watching shows.
He was in 3 episodes of ER. He was in an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, people like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. And that was it. Wow, he hasn't been anything since 2015 with True Detective. That's kind of wild.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he retired.
Maybe.
Probably did.
Oh, yeah. It says years active, 1973 to 2015. So
Yeah,
I guess
sounds like he just retired.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. Well, last story.
Last story that I was kind of lazy in writing. So
oh, wow.
You're
so
welcome.
much material. Thank you.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Final story for this week. New Marvel Comics Ultraman series, Ultraman: The Mysteries of Ultra 7. The first issue will debut in August, and the series will be helmed by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom, who are the team behind Marvel's first 2 Ultraman series. That's exciting. I don't know anything about it, but more Ultraman stuff is A-okay with me.
I know I read the entirety of the first one, which is The Rise of Ultraman. I don't remember if I finished the Trials of Ultraman. I don't think I did. I think I read the first 2 or 3 issues before I kind of forgot the series existed. But but I mean, it was good. It was a really kind of neat take on the Ultraman mythos. So,
would I like it?
You'd probably like it, yeah. I still stand by that you should probably fucking watch Ultraman before doing that, but
Okay. I mean, now that I don't have to watch a show for the next episode, I'll probably just do that.
That's true. I have no fucking idea what we're doing for the next episode, honestly.
We gotta talk about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We got 2 weeks. 1 week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. little less, actually, because we're recording late this week because someone took our goddamn time slot for this week. So we're recording on a Wednesday instead of a Monday.
When you found out, did you look at did you just say what in the goddamn?
Guy died, something like that.
What in the goddamn?
I will say I'm not looking forward to getting out of work tomorrow and immediately coming to edit this, because usually I have Tuesday as my editing day because that's my day off from work. So I have all day to do it. But no, now I got to come straight from work tomorrow night and do this. So yay.
That's so sad.
Fun. That's whatever. I'll probably order some Thai food.
Okay.
I'm doing work on it. But yeah, more Marvel Ultraman. It's good in my book, I say.
More stuff in this genre. Good with that.
Yeah.
More material.
Yeah.
Means it's still alive and not dead.
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
Okay. Hold on. Speaking of Ultraman, so I know you said we had to bring back the r/Godzilla block, but I don't remember what the thing was. So
I don't remember either.
All right, but
I can look.
No. I'm bullying someone else today.
Oh God. Okay.
So, I ordered something from Amazon a couple of days ago. I ordered a copy of Star Wars Shadowfall, the second book in the Alphabet Squadron trilogy. And I ordered the Mill Creek set for Ultraman Ginga. I got it, I think, Saturday or Sunday. And I opened it up. And book's there. Book's fine. The Ultraman set's there, but something's a little off with that Ultraman set. I received no slipcover with my Ultraman set, which would be fine if on those sets they had the same artwork on the slipcover as they do the Blu-ray insert. They do not have the same thing. The Blu-ray insert is just a textless picture of Ultraman Ginga and Ultraman Victory. And on the back, there's no details about, there's no description. There's no listing of like special features or anything. It's just blank. And it looks really, really ugly. So I did what any paying customer would do and got in touch with Mill Creek's customer service. And they responded to me in a couple days, like I think a day and a half. But it was a very curt response. It was, "We don't have any slipcovers, so we can't help you. Sorry."
Wow.
That was literally it. That was all they said. I'm like, are you fucking serious? How do you not have any slipcovers at all?
That's kind of crazy.
I know it's like this, like a petty thing to be upset about, but like all my Ultraman stuff like looks like it's all on the same shelf. It looks great, and now Ginga is just there looking out of place, and I'm not happy about it. How could you do this to me, Mill Creek? I've supported you for so long.
That reminds me of Bethesda's response to like the bad like canvas bags.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Where they were just like people were complaining about it, and then Bethesda was just like, "Yeah, sorry, this is how the bags are. We don't plan on doing anything about it."
Yeah. Oh my god.
So good. God, that's wow. But even with the slipcovers thing, that's almost worse because it's like even pettier.
Yeah, I know. It's just
cardboard.
It's just cardboard. You can't just print off a new one, really?
Well, I mean, they make it, right? Like they make these sets, so it may be something along like they just don't have the materials. Like that could be a thing.
I guess, but it's fucking
because like
cardstock.
You know, like
man.
I work in manufacturing, and there are lots of parts that are like basically identical, but just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're out of one of them, you cannot use something that is pretty close, but not. So maybe these inserts, they're very specific, and they can't make them themselves, so they source it from somewhere else, and maybe they're out and they just weren't able to, and so that they didn't fall behind on orders, maybe they just sent them out without the slipcovers, hoping people wouldn't care.
Well, I care.
I know you care, but maybe...
Do they even know who I am? I am David Scrivani, host of Talking Toku. All right.
Aaron of Talking Toku.
I will not accept this, Mill Creek, if you are listening. I demand a more sincere apology than the curt email you sent me.
And a full refund.
Not a full refund. Just give me the fucking slipcase. That's all I want, man.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I was just being devil's advocate, but that was kind of a bad response. I feel like if they did have like a shortage of materials, they probably would have told you.
Yeah, but it was just like, we can't do anything. Sorry.
Maybe try and send another email or something?
I don't know what the hell that would do, but...
I mean, just be like, hey, like, is there a reason why you're out of them? Like, can you give me a reason? Maybe, like, inquire further? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if I care enough to, like, pursue it, but I don't
know. I mean, like, what's the harm, I guess? I don't know.
I don't know.
They get annoyed. They probably won't even respond if they are.
Yeah.
Who cares?
They block me from buying any more Ultraman sets.
They block you, so you have to proxy buy things from me.
This guy wants to watch Ultraman Tiga. I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
God. All right. Well, that's the end of my little rant against Mill Creek.
That was definitely a rant. That was a 6 out of 7 rant right there.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support.
The high marks. I know. Yeah.
All right. Well, ready to talk about Pacific Rim?
Yeah, we are talking about Pacific Rim: The Black Season 2.
Yeah.
And
it's okay.
Well, we're just gonna go out of the get out in front of this. Spoilers. We're gonna spoil the
Oh yeah,
show.
we're spoiling the show. Also,
Gonna spoil the show.
if you want to hear our thoughts on season 1, we have an episode about that. It was one of the first episodes that we ever did on this show.
It's way back in the day, and it was definitely incoherent.
Yeah, I mean, this is also very incoherent, but that might be a little more incoherent.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
will
know.
definitely be more incoherent.
Or maybe not.
Actually, I was thinking that you and I maybe should do like a redux of some of our older episodes.
Okay, I think we talked about that when we did the 1-year anniversary.
Specifically, I was thinking about Evangelion, the show, not the rebuild.
Okay,
Because you didn't watch the show for the episode.
that's very true. I didn't.
And the actual conversation was extremely painful to get through because you expected me to carry the whole thing.
It kind of was.
Which I could probably carry it now
Mm-hmm.
because I've had more time to stew over it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we could do a redo of that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Because then we could talk about the show and then End of Evangelion. And man, I will talk about End of Evangelion to anyone who will listen. That's the second time I've said that.
It is. Will it be the last time? Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe I'll make it a 3-fer. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I'd do that for like the original Pacific Rim. So I mean, that kind of links back to what we're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Well, the show.
Yeah,
Black
the show.
Season 2.
It's all right, I guess.
I thought it was good. It starts off basically right where the first season ended. It is like seamless.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like a season 2. It really just feels like they split up. They made one season and split it into 2 parts, and then waited a year between the 2 parts to release them.
I was gonna say like it definitely feels like a single season in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really feel like there's no time skip, there's no like jump.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes from end of season 1, final episode to first episode to season 2. I'm kind of like I'm okay with that. I didn't really think there would be anything to gain from like a time skip.
No, I don't think so either. It was just kind of like almost too seamless. Like I feel like this would it would probably be a better experience if you just watch the seasons back to back rather than waiting a year like everyone else did. But I don't know. There wasn't really any other way to do that.
Yeah, I actually considered watching after I was done with the show because it is very like easy to get through. Like, it doesn't take a lot of time to watch the season. I considered watching season 1 again and then season 2 immediately after. Mm-hmm. But I didn't. I haven't done it because it is a time commitment. It's a couple hours. It's a couple hours to get through all of it. But yeah, I'm okay with the time skip. I know it's probably the no time skip thing. Mm-hmm. Like I know it's probably a little weird maybe for you, but I just feel like if they tried to do like a time jump and explain away what they've been doing since, it just adds more like whatever to the story. There's already not a whole lot of fat to like this story. It's very like
it's very straightforward.
They have one goal, and it's to get to Sydney base.
Yeah.
And on the way, they just kind of run into problems, and then they fix them. And then they keep going. There's not really any like divergent like what are these people all about? Whatever. Like the show doesn't really concern itself with any of that. And honestly, like I am perfectly okay with that. Because I feel like if it tried to do that, it probably would have gotten bogged down, and the pacing would have been worse.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely appreciate
after watching Ultraman season 2 with how many fucking characters are in that show that you have to memorize. Watching this show, which had 4 main characters, super okay with. I would get behind that any day of the week. They're very defined. Don't have to do any brain power to memorize them all. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Did you want to talk about the story real quick?
I mean, you kind of
It's
summed it up as it
basically
is. It's the same thing. They're trying to get to Sydney base, except now instead of Shane being the main threat, it's the the Sisterhood of the Kaiju, or whatever they're called.
that's true. Yeah. Actually, that is something I wanted to talk about. So it feels like so at the end of season 1, I think Shane was kind of like on a warpath because they destroyed all his shit.
Yeah,
And it feels like they were really trying to get him out of the way in this show. He kind of
yeah.
was like
He
in the
shows up
first
in
couple-
what is it, like the second episode or is it the third?
I think it was the third, pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the third episode. But it was like following him a little bit with that spider guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna catch up and get May back, and get that fucking Jaeger or whatever." And he catches up with them, and he just like they have a conversation.
Yeah, he
and then-
immediately just has a change of heart with no
Yeah.
build up whatsoever. He's like, "All right, I'm a good guy now. Here's
and
everything
then-
you ever wanted."
Yeah, but that was also the episode where you know, spoiler obviously. The kids what are their names again?
Haley and Taylor.
Haley and Taylor, that's right. They find their mom. Their mom was abducted and indoctrinated into the, you know, the Sisterhood of the. I kept calling them the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I thought it was funny.
I forgot that thing existed.
Me too. But yeah, they you know, she got indoctrinated into the Sisterhood of the Kaiju or whatever, and so she was, you know, effectively brainwashed. And basically, Shane put down his fucking life, this absolute scoundrel of a guy, to save their mom from like the corruption or whatever through drifting.
Yeah.
And
Lord knows how that worked exactly.
I don't know. I don't care because it actually had some cool visuals.
It did. I will say that much.
And also, I think it did a pretty good job of like characterizing their mom really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like she showed up for a couple episodes and then she dies near the end of the show.
Which I thought was really well done, by the way.
It was very well done. That was another thing I wanted to talk about later. But then Shane dies. Well, you know, sacrificing himself to save his mom, and you know, his mind basically dies, and therefore his body dies. You know, drift rules. And I just thought that was like kind of weird. Like they were just really trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And it made me think that they just really wanted to keep this show as concise as possible, and they didn't want too many things going on. Because it seemed like they found their mom, and they were like, shit, we need to drop something. We need to drop a plot element. Shane, you're out the fucking window. See you later. I don't know. I don't know if you got that vibe from it at all.
A little bit, but I don't know. I mostly just, it seemed weird that like, you know, we got him as like the main antagonist, and then all of a sudden he's a good guy now. Don't question it. It's like there's really nothing that builds up to him getting that like redemption arc. I mean, there isn't a redemption arc. He just decides to be a good guy now. Like there's nothing.
He decides because May was like, if you really care about me, you do this without, you know, demanding anything in return. Which
I mean, I guess, but like we never really got a good sense of like what May meant to him, you know?
Yeah.
Like we keep being told like, oh yeah, May means a lot to Shane, but we never really got a sense of why that was the case.
Yeah. And it's even more strange considering the end of the first season where we found out that, you know, he was basically implanting false memories in her to make her like more subservient.
Yeah,
which is like that's completely unforgivable act.
It very much is. Like, why are you giving a redemption arc to a man like that? Like he does not deserve a redemption arc.
Yeah, he was very much a bad dude.
So
in the first season.
That's a totally different thing. But
I want to say that that's probably like the thing I didn't like the most in this show, in this season. Was how they handled Shane.
Mm-hmm.
It really did feel like they were just trying to dump him somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of get it. There's not really a whole lot you can do, especially if you know that this is the last season.
Hmm.
Shane feels like he was a character made for a show with more than 2 seasons.
I agree. Yeah.
Which may have been the plan from the get-go, but it's obviously not how it turned out. Um, but I don't know. That's just that's probably the only big downside I really had. Um, anyways, but with their mom passing, I wanted to talk about that.
Hmm.
So a little bit of background. Her mom, or Haley and Taylor's mom, was at the when they were what's the city that they failed at fighting in? Meridian? Is that it?
Yes.
I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't Meridian, but basically when Haley and Taylor's mom were fighting kaiju and their Jaeger got destroyed, which you found out at the end of the first season. Their dad escaped because their mom stayed behind and drove off the Sisterhood of the Kaiju, and that's why she was captured and indoctrinated and brainwashed. And so you don't really hear about what happened to their dad until the very end of the show. But so they find their mom again. I think Shane is actually the one who finds her, right? Yeah, yeah. Shane like
Yeah.
knocks out a bunch of the sisters and like unmasks one, and it's their mom, and then
Yes.
that's when he shows up with her, and so when Shane like helps unbrainwash their mom, and they go and infiltrate the space to save Boy, because they love Boy apparently. They see him as a god.
Yeah.
And they're trying to make him evil.
I want to talk about that for sure because that's not explained like
No,
at
it's not.
all, like
not.
whatsoever. They're just like, yeah, he's the Messiah. Why is he the Messiah? I don't know. He is.
He just is, because he's a kid, but he can turn into a monster.
And we never get an explanation for that either. Like, okay, so I watched the finale this morning before I left. I went to work, and literally the explanation they give for Boy's origin is just, yeah, we found him out in the desert, and we're like, oh, he's a weapon.
Yeah.
That's literally it. We get nothing. Not a goddamn thing other than that. No explanation as to where he came from. No explanation as to how the fuck he can turn into a kaiju. Nothing.
I mean, I guess you can kind of infer it. Like, you can kind of like come up with your own conclusions,
I
which is kind of
guess,
fun.
but like, I don't know.
I'm okay with it. Like, for me, what I think is they probably sent the precursors or whatever, like sent him through a portal to be like to look like a human, and then he like turns into kaiju, kind of like a sleeper agent.
Okay, that's fair.
Like that's my headcanon. That's probably what they may have been going for. I really doubt that it was a human creation. I don't know.
I don't know, because I feel like that was kind of what was inferred from the first season when they first found him. I don't know.
Yeah, because he was like a mindless killing machine. The only reason that he had any sort of humanity in the first place was because of Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which actually
speaking
is a
of,
highlight.
Speaking of,
yeah,
Haley needs to calm the fuck down in
does
this season.
Need to calm the fuck
down. She got way too attached to Boy, like way too quickly.
I was gonna say that in the first season, it was a bit of like her actually giving a shit was kind of like a highlight.
Yeah,
and it was like kind of wholesome. But in this show, she's
she's
attached.
giving too much of a shit.
Yeah, like way too attached.
She's ready to fucking disown Taylor as her brother in order to, because he gives Boy to the sisters in an attempt to save their own lives.
Yeah, because the sisters trapped them in like a ravine.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone is kind of fucking stupid in this except for May.
Yeah.
Like, both Haley and Taylor are like... They
I
got to
think
they got some shit to sort out.
May is in like survival mode all the time.
Yeah,
So
she is.
I feel like they were trying to go with like her being a voice of reason,
Mm-hmm.
but she like cares too little. I feel like
I don't know.
you know?
I didn't get that sense because like she cares when it's like she does have that kind of uncaring attitude, but like she cares when it's like important, like when there's something like to care about that's like this needs to happen, then she's very compassionate. When
That's fair.
the I think it was the scene after Brina dies, like Haley goes up to just sit on top of Ajax.
Right.
And like May just comes up and sits next to her. They don't say anything, but she's just there for her. And I thought that was a really good moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, there were definitely some good like character moments in this show, which is nice. But I do agree that a lot, like Haley and Taylor were both kind of dumb. Like for most of the show.
Yeah.
They just made kind of bad decisions. And also they just were like both of them were on a very short fuse. I want to like this is kind of why I wanted to go back and watch the first season to see if this was like also the case. And
maybe,
because I don't remember it that well. So I kind of want to go back to see if either there is a reason to why they're making these kind of bad decisions that I just didn't remember. Or maybe like if they've just always been like this and I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. I guess not like I don't know. Maybe there was a change or some shit like at the end of the end of the first season that caused them to kind of be to be more extreme, I guess, like Haley specifically.
Mm-hmm. I maybe yeah. We'd have to rewatch the first season.
Yeah, which I might do. Let me think. What's something else I want to talk about? The sisterhood was interesting. I just feel like it was a big missed opportunity to explain what they were even about.
Like that's the biggest thing. Like there's really no explanation of the whole kaiju messiah thing. There's really no explanation for the sisters in general. I mean, they do establish in the original film that there are people who worship the kaiju as gods, but like in the first, it's very clearly like kind of an established religion instead of like a straight up cult.
Yeah, and in this show, it's like a corruption, like a physical corruption.
It's totally
turn
different.
into like they get like if they're corrupted for long enough, they have like characteristics of kaiju, like blue blood and like very like sickly looking skin,
which I think I do like that. Like I think that was kind of cool.
I thought the sisters were like creepy.
Yeah.
I thought they were creepy.
Oh, they are for sure.
But what I think is a big missed opportunity is to like explain, why they were established, what their point is beyond corrupting boy, because like they have to have a reason beyond that.
Yeah.
Like because they
like, what the hell is their end game?
Yeah, like that's what I'm like. Their end game was to corrupt boy and have him go destroy Sydney base or whatever. But like, there's got to be more than that,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they could have done with a little bit more explaining on that. But I do like the concept of like a cult like that, and I think that the imagery of them was pretty cool.
Yeah. Also,
I also thought the making a road out of human skulls was pretty metal.
Oh, was that what the hell they were doing? I thought they were. I couldn't. I knew they were doing with some of these skulls, but I couldn't tell what the heck they were doing. I thought they were just stacking them because it looked cool.
It was like a red carpet, but made out of skulls.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty badass.
So I want to bring this up because now we have recently rewatched Pacific Rim Uprising, and that film, of course, retcons what the kaiju are there to do.
It's true.
What the fuck are what the fuck is happening with the kaiju in this show? Then why are they not trying to set off Mount Fuji or whatever?
Dude, I have no clue. I don't even think the show, or not the show. I don't even think like. It seems like their goals change in every single property. So like the first Pacific Rim, it was one thing. Then Pacific Rim Uprising, it was something completely different.
Yeah.
And then in this, the kaiju are really kind of just shown as like wandering, lumbering beasts.
Yeah, they're very much just animals. Like
they're for at the end of the show, the big fight at the end is literally a Category 6 that is just fucking like it just fucked off somewhere.
Yeah.
And they just called it using horns.
Mm-hmm. Which I actually really liked the look of that Category 6. I thought it was very cool.
Me too. I really like how that thing looked.
Yeah, I was it was kind of like the first of the kaiju in this series that kind of had that feel of like of a kaiju from the first movie,
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. I appreciated how simple it looked, and it kind of it meshed really well with the like the kaiju lineup from like the first movie.
Yeah,
we actually see some of those in this show too. You get the trespasser type.
Oh yeah. In the episode 2 with
in episode
with
2.
Bunyip Man.
Yes, that guy who gets fucking.
Yeah, that kind of annoyed me because they got Rhys Darby to voice him, and who's an incredible actor, and he has a very, very recognizable voice, and they kind of, I don't know, it felt like they kind of like were setting him up to be a more important character, and then he just died.
I was expecting him to be there for like the whole show.
Yeah, especially because considering they got an actor as big as Rhys Darby.
Yeah, like it seems like they wanted to make him a character, but then they just had to kill him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I would have really liked to honestly, in general, I would have liked to see a more permanent addition to the cast.
Yeah,
of the show, which is what I thought they were trying to do with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Did. Especially because they had him show up so early in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this might be a new character. Nope, he gets eaten like immediately, which was shocking, but shocking because I thought he was going to be there for longer.
Exactly. But I mean, his whole thing was very entertaining. I mean, the fact that he kind of quote unquote tamed the kaiju.
Yeah, and I did like how everyone kind of said out loud what I was thinking was that the only reason they're still here is because you're feeding them.
Yeah, literally.
I
do like how I did think it was kind of funny how he was just like talking shit to that one trespasser. He was like, "Hey, don't be doing that. Don't be yelling at me."
Reminds me of Resident Evil 8 where Metal Hammer guy yells down at the chopper head thing to shut up. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Heisenberg yells down the hatch.
Yeah.
Telling it's like an airplane propeller or some shit.
I don't remember what they called it.
It was best part of the whole game. Favorite part of the whole entire movie.
Oh yeah, Brian. What was your favorite part of the whole entire movie for Pacific Rim Season 2?
Oh man,
I think we got to make that like a its own segment whenever we review something.
Yeah, my favorite part of the whole entire movie was showing Haley and Taylor showing their mom a happy ending before she died.
I
thought
agree.
That was actually genuinely
very.
If there is one thing that this show does well in spades, it is show off cool, unique ways to use the drift.
Mm-hmm. Like in season 1, when Shane used the drift to like interrogate Taylor, that was fucking rad. And I think we talked about that a lot when we reviewed the first season because it is really, really cool. Yeah.
I thought it was really awesome how they did that, and I thought that this was a very nice contrast, because instead of using it in a for an evil means, they are using it to make someone's last moments bearable.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a very sweet moment, and I think that the show gets big bonus points from your boy Brian for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
I agree.
I think that was but that was my favorite part. Very telling that my favorite part was not a fight.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like the fights, the action scenes are very well done. I will say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The action scenes were really cool. There weren't a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh, it was actually a lot of running in this.
Yeah, there was, but no, that
running.
the final fight between the Category 6 and what is the Jaeger's name again?
It's
Atlas Destroyer.
Atlas Destroyer. I knew it was Atlas.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's not really a fight because the Category 6 is just absolutely destroying
wiping
Atlas.
the floor.
Like it's not even close to fair.
Yeah,
but it is very well done. It's very entertaining to watch.
I was gonna say that Atlas Destroyer is a very sturdy.
Yeah, I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did.
Because especially there were shots of it trying the Category 6 trying to pull off the Jaeger's head.
Yeah,
and I just had flashbacks of the first movie where
Otachi destroys Crimson Dynamo or whatever.
No, I was thinking the beginning of it where Knifehead like tears off with one hand the whole side of Gypsy's head, and how easy it looked. And Knifehead was a Category 3,
I think, maybe
4.
One of the two.
I think he was a 3. Pretty sure.
Well, I think we just have to rewatch Pacific Rim to find out. Because
I'd be
honestly
so
talking about this, I kind of want to rewatch Pacific Rim again.
Yeah, I would very much be down for that. Let me think here. Is there anything else?
Pour one out for my boy Apex.
Yes, Apex. I like to think Apex is still alive.
Okay.
I like to think he still is.
I don't know
deep down
that.
somewhere.
I mean, he got his face torn up. All the lights went out. He's definitely done.
I do feel bad.
But he did. He sacrificed himself to save Boy, and you know
true.
what? That's good on him.
I do like how he kind of just like. He just like came up from the ocean and just beelined it to Boy.
It's everyone makes memes about the 2014 Godzilla, waking up and immediately going to start some shit, and that's literally what Apex did.
Except Apex was like, I'm going to parent the fuck out of this kid. He wasn't looking for a fight. He was going to look for some discipline.
Yeah, he had to go discipline his child.
Yeah, he had to have Atlas Destroyer like hold him and then just like beam information into his eyeballs.
Yeah. I do like that scene where we see Apex like walking towards them, and it passes by Bogan, and like everyone's like, fucking keep on moving, man. And then he just kind of looks at him for like a second, just like kind of staring him down, intimidating them, and keeps on walking. And then the one girl just like fires a rocket by accident, and he's just like, fuck y'all. And then whatever the guy's name is, like, just no fucking what's the word I'm looking for? No mercy, just shoots just executes her. And I'm like, God. I kind of forgot how violent the show could be.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that when that happened, I was like, wait, did I see that right? Because like up until then, I was like, oh, this show isn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, there was in the first season they killed that like supporting character like outright. I can't remember who it was. Can't remember his name.
Yeah, well, and also like even like as the show goes on for longer, like like people get like stabbed in this show and stuff. There's like blood and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know it wasn't too bad. I remember the first season being a little bit more violent.
Yeah, but
that's because there was a lot of like human stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
There's less human fighting in this. Actually, I don't think there is any, except for that one scene. right? I don't know.
I don't.
If you
I don't
count
remember.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants as as humans, then yeah, there is. But if you don't, then no, there isn't.
I mean, the only one they're kind of all human except for the High Priestess,
That's true.
who I will say,
Yeah,
once her robe came off, I was like, God damn, it looks exactly like Olivia Pierce from Dune 2016.
dude. Thank you for reminding me. I was gonna say that.
It's
I didn't.
it's
I
like
didn't
it's like
text you that.
very similar.
When I was watching the show, I like got to that point and it reminded me of that, and I was gonna text you, but I remember you told me you hadn't, finished the show
Yeah.
yet, so I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, it's not really a much of a spoiler, but
No, not really.
hey, I wonder if that's left over from Hugo Martin. He worked on Pacific Rim's the guy on Doom.
True.
Maybe, I don't know.
Actually, I was gonna say that because they kind of like did a little bit of a build up to the High Priestess taking off her mask,
Hmm.
but I thought that when she took off her mask, it was literally gonna be like a precursor.
That could have
But
been
I
cool,
was
actually.
disappointed. I was disappointing in seeing that it was literally just a very deformed lady.
I feel like if they had made it a precursor, they would have had to do another season.
I guess so, but like even if they still killed her, I still would have found that to be
I guess, but like that
conclusive enough.
it would have opened up a whole new can of worms. Like, oh, if there's one precursor here, how many more on Earth are there?
Could have been like Scout.
Maybe, but they wouldn't have sent just one scout. Is the thing.
I know, but like even if they had her be a precursor, like I still feel like that wouldn't really justify another season. As much as I would actually like one,
Hmm.
it's obvious that they wanted this season to be conclusive. But like they still had like the whole boy thing be non-conclusive.
Yeah, that's true.
Leave. Are there more precursors on Earth? Up to your imagination. It's just something to sit on, I guess.
Hmm. Also,
Uh,
it didn't. What we said will probably happen didn't happen. They never they never gave Boy an actual name.
that's true. I thought that they were gonna give him a name at the end, and they
Yeah,
didn't.
especially considering like they kept going on about, oh, he's part of our family now, but no, it's
It
still just
just
Boy.
felt. The more that they called him Boy, the goofier it felt.
Yeah.
Because every time they called him Boy, all I could think about was God of War. That was it. I just kept thinking about it, and
I'm gonna
honestly,
make a
maybe
fan
watch it.
edit of Pacific Rim: The Black, and every time they say Boy's name, I'm just gonna splice in Kratos saying Boy.
Boy. Yeah, every time Haley says boy,
Boy.
you just dub over it. It's just
Yeah.
Kratos saying boy.
Perfect. It's
Oh my
it's
God.
functionally the exact same show. It's just that one detail. Haley's voice
Really is.
just gets randomly deep every time.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's all.
That'd be
it
really
is.
funny. You should actually do
I'm
that.
gonna do that. Yeah.
Ugh. It's a project you spend like 2 months on. And then,
the ultimate Pacific Rim fan project.
someone just asks you why, and you're just like, because I could.
Why? I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny.
Because I can. It lines up so well.
Yeah. Oh God.
All right. Well, anything else?
Yeah, I don't think so. Do we? I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Season 2 of The Black. Do we want to talk about like where the franchise could potentially go from here,
Yeah.
or
Well,
if this is like the
I'll-
end?
I'll say my opinion. I think right now, expect Pacific Rim to go into hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's over. So here's the thing that I found pretty interesting is that
Okay.
I've been like talking to like a lot of new people because I just moved and whatever, and I talk about like things I like, and every time I bring up like giant monster movies, they always say Pacific Rim, which makes me more hopeful for the property because I'm
Okay.
just like, it is very much in the public consciousness, which is great. So I think that there is definitely an audience that would go see more movies.
They just have
But
to be good.
they have to be good because the same people that I talked to who have mentioned Pacific Rim to me also mentioned how much they didn't like the sequel.
You know, I
It
talked about this with my coworker today. So today after work someone at the movie theater next door had organized. They had rented out a theater for us all to go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I didn't go because A, I had already seen it, and B, I had to do this. So I was telling one of my coworkers about that, and she was like, I don't know what Pacific Rim is. But then one of my other coworkers heard it, and he's like, oh, Pacific Rim, the anime? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how is it? I haven't seen it. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. And we started kind of talking about it, and I was like, and he's like, oh, you know, loved the first movie, hated the second one. I'm like, yeah, yeah, same here.
Yeah, yeah. I am yet to meet a soul who enjoyed the second one.
I have one friend who she really likes it. I haven't asked her why. I just know I think she has it at like a 4-star review on Letterboxd.
I don't get it, but for me, it's been a 100% I hate it.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, on that alone, like, you know, obviously it's not enough to base an educated guess on where I think the series is going to go or where the property is going to go. But I think the interest is there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think people would be receptive to one, especially if it is good and handled well, which is probably the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
I want to say, because I feel like you have very wide swings in quality. You know, obviously, like, we like the show, but it's not as good as the first movie, but it's not nearly as bad or disappointing as the, you know, the
I mean,
sequel.
I don't think anything's gonna be as good as the first movie. We should
I don't
just
think so either.
not hold on to that ever.
I think that is an unreachable height.
Yeah,
and I think that it's partially
again, like I said when we reviewed Uprising again. I don't think anything in Pacific Rim would be as. I don't think it's going to be as good unless they got Guillermo del Toro back, because del Toro has, you know, he brings with him a very unique. Not just directing style, but he brings a certain charm that you cannot get anywhere else than his direction.
I completely agree. That's actually what I was going to say. I don't think it's realistic to, you know, to expect a movie that's as good as the first one unless it's with del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that. You know, the first Pacific Rim, it looks. Like the way that he directed that movie is very specific. He has his style, very hard to replicate, and if you replicate it, it's probably not going to turn out as well.
Yeah.
So what they need to do is someone just needs to find something in the property that they can expand on and do it in their style and hope that it's just good. But don't be disingenuous to what was set up for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, Pacific Rim has a very cool world. It has very cool concepts, and I think the black is a good indication that people have cool ideas when it comes to it, but it needs to be executed well.
Yeah.
And I just think that because Pacific Rim Uprising was such a miss, I just think that, you know, studios, or I don't know what studio is behind it.
What?
I don't know.
Black or?
No, Uprising.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was the same. It's still Legendary.
Still Legendary? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that in that case, Legendary is probably still a little bit like, I don't know if I want to commit money to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see. I hope I would actually be good with more animated series. I think Pacific Rim is probably.
Oh. Huh.
I think it's well suited. I think it's well suited to an animated series format.
Apparently, there was a prequel comic to the Black released earlier this year.
What was it called?
Pacific Rim Blackout.
I actually did hear about that, but
It's
I
written
never...
by Kevin Scott, who I'm aware of because he is kind of the he's been the pretty much the head of the Star Wars, the High Republic stuff. Like it's pretty much he's like the main dude behind that.
Okay.
All right,
Hmm.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
and that
I was
actually
just
kind of
into
ties
that.
that kind
Yeah.
of actually ties into my opinions on where the franchise is going to go. I agree.
You think it's going to go to comics?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of Pacific Rim comics because, like, I agree.
I know.
I don't think like, you know, movies or shows. I don't think there's gonna be any of those for at least a while, a little while, for at least a couple of
I
years.
think we are much more likely to get another series than a movie.
I agree. But I mean, I think what will happen is we're gonna get a bunch more comics because Pacific Rim has a lot of comics. I mean, they just, I think last year they released a whole omnibus of all the Pacific Rim comics that came out, and I think they even came with like a one that's exclusive to that omnibus. They wrote it specifically for that. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we're gonna get most of our Pacific Rim content is in the literature format.
Yeah, I would agree. I remember I actually had a bunch of those Pacific Rim comics. I think they're back in Massachusetts.
I think I borrowed some from you.
I think you did. But I agree with you. I think that the comics will definitely keep coming out. But yeah, I don't count on seeing any new movies anytime soon. I just don't think it's proven to be like a good business venture, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's definitely it's not nearly as when we talked about Uprising, we did some clown math for their budget, and it barely broke even.
Barely, yeah.
Barely. So I don't see them. When that happens, like it's very unlikely that you're going to get another one.
And there's it's entirely possible that it didn't make a lot of money because it wasn't a very good movie. Like that does tend to happen. I
mean, it had really bad press around it.
It did.
I remember seeing the reviews, and they were not kind.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so.
I think the only if Del Toro isn't involved, I think the only way to really that we would ever see a Pacific Rim film in the future is if it has a really good script and a really good director behind it. That's the only way I could see it.
I think if Del Toro went to Legendary and was like, "All right, I'll make another Pacific Rim movie," probably not likely.
No, I don't see Del Toro ever going back to Pacific Rim personally.
I don't see that either. But like in the bestest case, unrealistic scenario, that's probably a case where they would, because Del Toro is kind of one of those directors where studios will just be like, you know what, I trust you.
Honestly,
you bring in enough money with your name alone.
I mean, his last two movies were nominated for Best Picture. One of them won Best Picture. So I mean, at this point, he's kind of, he. Granted, Nightmare Alley didn't make any money because Disney decided to release that right around the same time Spider-Man No Way Home was coming out, which is very, very shitty on their part. But that's neither here nor there. The point is,
what a terrible bit of timing.
It really was. And I mean, that's just Disney being shitty to anything that was supposed to be released by Fox. But point being, they have... Del Toro at this point is kind of he's this is kind of a weird. I'm sure there's a term for it, but I'm gonna use this because it's all I can think of right now. He's critical gold. all of.
Yes.
I mean, there's never really been a movie of his that's like been received poorly. Maybe Mimic, and that's only because Mimic it was kind of wrenched control away from Mimic. Everything else has been just totally well received.
The only one that I remember seeing like kind of iffy reviews on was Crimson Peak, but that's because the marketing was very disingenuous.
Yes, that's because people didn't get it when it came out. You and I are included in that.
I liked it when it came out.
I liked it. I just thought it was okay. But having rewatched it recently, I'm like, oh, this movie fucking rocks.
I think if you watch that movie without seeing any of the marketing, you would very much appreciate it more.
It was actually very funny. When I rewatched it, I watched it with my friends Tom, Brian, not this Brian, and Giovanni. And at the end of the movie, Tom goes, I don't know what he said exactly, but he was disappointed that it wasn't about ghosts. And I'm like, Tom, they literally say at the beginning of the movie, literally word for word, this is not a ghost story. It's a story with ghosts in it. It's like that's the point of the film is spelled out for you right from the get-go.
My God,
it was really funny.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about. Like, I know we were talking about Del Toro, but I don't know what.
Well, you were saying
that
was like
he's supposed to be.
You were saying that he's critical gold.
Yes,
like everything he makes is great.
So yeah, technically he could kind of go to Legendary and ask them to do a Pacific Rim film, but I don't see him doing that because
he just wants to do his own projects. Yeah. I don't think he wants to be tied into sequels and prequels and all that.
I mean, considering the last time he tried to do a sequel was Hellboy 3, and look how that turned out, I don't see him trying to do that ever again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would much rather him just decide to do other weird, random things. I mean, we talked about
make a completely different kaiju movie.
Honestly, I mean, I'm really pumped for his next movie. I'm really pumped for that stop motion Pinocchio movie he's doing.
All right, I forgot he was doing
because that has one hell of a cast. Do you remember any of the cast? Because I could read it off to you.
I don't, but read it off to me later because it's not on topic.
Yeah, no, it is. It's on Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del
Toro is always on topic for this show.
Fair enough. All right.
Ewan McGregor's in it. David Bradley, Christoph Waltz, Tilda Swinton, Finn Wolfhard, Ron Perlman, Tim Blake Nelson, Bern Gorman, Kate Blanchett, and John Turturro. That is one. It's a stacked fucking cast.
Holy shit. I mean, you had me at Ewan McGregor.
I know, right?
But, god damn, that is the cast.
And the fact that it takes place in 1930s fascist Italy is just fucking rad.
My god.
And no one but Del Toro could pull off a Pinocchio film in fascist Italy.
It's true. Yeah. Well, what I wanted to say about Del Toro was that he's like in this exclusive club of directors that kind of just studios leave them alone.
Yeah, he's one of the few like auteur directors that are still working today. Like true.
Like it took him a long.
Directors.
It took him a long time to get there, but once he started making those masterpieces, like studios are just like hands off.
It was definitely like Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth was the one that like made people understand, like, oh, this guy is like, just let him do his thing and it'll be great.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I mean, anything else you wanted to talk about for the series?
No, not really.
One thing I do want to mention. In my opinion, if they do a new animated series, which I would be really cool with, don't put it on Netflix, please.
Yes, well, they're probably not going to because
put it on HBO Max, please.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I had to say. I just really don't like Netflix. I'm looking for any reason to get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to.
Also, I would really like them to keep to like small scale stories with like a small cast. Mm-hmm. That's probably my favorite thing about The Black. was that
Yeah,
it has a very concise cast.
I agree. It's not,
And
they don't
it's
try to complicate things like Uprising did.
yeah. Yeah, I just, very like that, that's why I really think, the first Pacific Rim like clicked for me and a lot of people was that it was just a very easy to follow story. Like it didn't try to complicate itself because it didn't need to,
Yeah.
you know? I feel like when media knows that knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to be anything more, I think people catch on to that.
Hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that comes out now that is simple in concept, but they try to artificially elevate their story by adding all this other stuff that doesn't need to be there.
Hmm.
And it just seems disingenuous. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
But, okay. Done. We're
Okay.
done talking about
We're
it.
done talking
I'll
about it.
see. Goodbye, Pacific Rim forever.
Yeah, pour one out for Pacific Rim.
Pour one out for Pacific Rim.
Anyways, yeah, that's it for Pacific Rim. Is there any new cool kaiju thing you've been checking out recently?
Do we want to talk about Halo? It's not kaiju,
No,
I feel like you and I have to mention it.
We can mention it briefly. Brian and I have watched the
Briefly.
first 2 episodes of Halo, and it fucking sucks.
It does suck.
I've watched it. We watched the first episode high. I watched the second episode high. Brian was sober at the time, and even high, it sucks. Like remember on the last episode we talked about watching Fallen Kingdom high, and we had a blast even though the movie sucked. That's not the case for Halo. Not the case at all.
Nope.
It's still just terrible.
Yes. And to bring it back to the tokusatsu adjacent, the practical effects, which are nearly non-existent, suck ass.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of like just amateur mistakes, like a prop plasma pistol that is not painted.
Yeah, it's not great.
Incredible.
But,
I also really just wanted to bring this up so that I can introduce everyone to a new nickname for Master Chief in the show specifically, which is Jimmy Rings.
Jimmy Rings. It's no longer John Halo. It's Jimmy Rings.
No, because John Halo is from the games.
The games, yeah, they're very different.
But this guy isn't John Halo. This guy is Jimmy Rings.
He's Jimmy Rings. I will say it's kind of a shame that the movies that the show's bad, because I know Pablo Schreiber, who's the guy who plays Master Chief, he's really happy that he's playing Master Chief. Like he's pumped to be playing that character.
I feel bad because I feel like he's gonna get bullied.
Yeah, I feel bad
till the end of time.
Yeah,
he's gonna get bullied till the end of time. I don't blame any of the actors. No,
absolutely not.
I 100% blame the showrunners and the scriptwriters and whoever made the decisions behind the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's very obvious that it was tone deaf.
Oh, I thought he looked familiar.
Huh?
He was in American Gods. Okay. He was the leprechaun in American Gods.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
To Pablo Schreiber, the guy who plays Master Chief.
Oh. It's hard to think that he's a leprechaun.
Yeah.
He's fucking huge.
Yeah, I know. Well, he is huge. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's he's portrayed as like a big, strong Irish guy with a bunch of tattoos and a mohawk.
He's reached beefcake status.
Yes, but yeah, Halo sucks. Don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it. It has nothing to do with Tokusatsu. I just needed to talk about it. I needed to vent about it.
Something that is Tokusatsu that I have checked out. Please, for the love of God, if any of you listening are not subscribed to Vrano on YouTube, that's VRAHNO, you have to do that, because he just put out part 2 of Godzilla Gets a... What is it called? Yeah, Godzilla Gets a YouTube award. It's incredible. I mean the general plot of the series is that Rodan runs a YouTube channel that's just Anguirus doing unboxings of dinosaur figures but like he uses it as a platform to critique like tokusatsu and giant monster movies in general. Like not Rodan, but like Vrano, the creator, uses it as a platform to critique giant monster movies. And it's like really well done and really well researched, and it's also fucking hilarious.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Yes, please, Brian, see it because it's
I will.
incredible. He also
I will.
put out
I
part
will go
3,
watch it.
even though and part 3 is more of just a part 2.5 because from what he said in the description, part 3 was just like this was supposed to be in part 2, but I felt it was a little too mean spirited, so I made it its own thing. But yeah,
I think you linked this to me, and
I did, and then you didn't watch it, Brian.
I didn't watch. I know. I'm sorry. I think you sent it to me while I was at work.
That's okay, but you're not at work now, so you should watch both part 1 and 2 and 3 when you're done with this. It's a good.
I just might, yeah.
It's a good. I mean, I mean, between all 3 parts, it's basically a feature film. You know, I mean, part 1's 22 minutes, part 2 is 20 minutes, part 3 is 12 minutes. So it's a short feature film.
God damn.
That's your plan for the night.
All right, well, that's my plan for the night. Thanks for making that for me.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone, please go watch Godzilla Gets a YouTube Award and subscribe to Verano. He's honestly, I think he's one of the best like content creators in the kaiju circle.
Get him on here so we can call him friend of the
Honestly,
show.
I probably could. I honestly just might do that because I love his work. He also does a lot of Bionicle stuff, so that's
hell yeah.
Yeah, he's a damn good guy in my book if he's doing both.
You're already best friends.
Yeah, honestly. Speaking of, I'm going to shill my own content right now. Go check out Dave Explains Bionicle on YouTube. That's me talking about Bionicle for a long time. There's 2 videos.
I actually did watch it.
Did you watch part 2 yet?
Yes.
Nice. Did you like my bit
about? It is some of the most unhinged shit I've ever seen.
Good. That's what I want it to be.
Okay.
Okay. I think that'll be it for the show tonight, though. I've kind of exhausted all of what I wanted to talk about. I assume you have as well.
Yes. Let me go eat the rest of my yogurt in peace.
Yeah, and then watch Godzilla Gets a YouTube Award.
Okay. Will do.
Yeah.
Also, audience, Dave bought a PC and he was unlucky enough to get a defective one. Get fucked.
I am so upset. Me getting a PC has been in the works for God knows how long, and Brian here was kind enough to send me a really good deal on one. So I bought it, fired it up, connected everything, got it going, and then the video card was shit.
Boom. So
yeah. Really, really good start to my journey on being a PC gamer.
PC gamer.
Thankfully, I got in touch with the company. They're going to send me a replacement. So yeah, I'm still not too happy about it. I'm actually very upset about it. It's
it's more of your PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's more of a mild annoyance. I mean, yeah, I'm still trying to 100% Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. That's gonna take me quite a while because I think last I checked, which was like yesterday, I've like in terms of completion, I'm only like 50% of the way through getting everything, so I still have quite a ways to go. But
Jesus.
Yeah, someday soon I will be a PC gamer. Hopefully.
Hopefully it's before this weekend so you and I can play something.
Yeah, I doubt that. But we'll
never know. They sent it to you fast.
They did. They sent that to me. I mean, they got to get my card before they send me a new one, I think.
True. Fair enough.
So,
all right, well, let's end the show.
Let's end the show. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Again, I'm so fucking terrible at posting anything. I'm really going to try to do better about that. I know I say that every time, but I swear to God.
Become a staple of the show as you say you post.
I know. I know that's becoming a new running gag on the show, is me saying I'm going to post more and then never doing so. I don't even think I posted anything about last episode.
Nope. Do you want me to? Because I will.
I mean, feel free. Yeah.
All right, I will.
Yeah. And of course, let people know that we have another episode coming out this week.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I have a plan though. I have a plan. I'm going to tell myself, at least 2 posts a week. I don't know what they'll be about. It could just be sharing news or something. Just 2 posts a week. That's my goal. We'll see if that works.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't.
It would, and yeah, exactly. We gotta get the what's the term they use for content creators, like interacting with people?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't consider myself a content creator.
Neither do I. And I definitely don't consider myself an influencer, God forbid.
Brian, that's gonna be the arc for season 3 of Talking Toku, is become influencers.
Fucking no.
We'll be the first kaiju related influencers.
Oh my god, fuck off. No.
We'll tell everyone about.
I mean, I don't know, because then if we were, then maybe like we get invited to like events and stuff.
Yeah, and then we can laugh at all the actual influencers, be like, "You guys suck. You guys don't talk about kaiju stuff. We're cool."
Yeah, we get invited to movies. You guys just get swarmed by like 13-year-old fans.
There was something, some influencer was in some like big movie. Oh, they were on The Simpsons. Because The Simpsons always has like big guest stars, and they announced guest stars for some episode. I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
Disgusting.
Yeah.
The Simpsons needed to end so long ago, just like this episode.
I have heard that The Simpsons is actually very good now. Like it went through its period of being not so great, but like this past season apparently has been really, really solid.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Let's
I don't
end
watch
the
the show.
episode now.
Yeah, let's end the episode. Like I said, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Talking Toku. Yeah, that's that. We'll see. We'll see if I post. Brian says he's gonna post.
Sure.
Will I post? Who knows? Tune in next time to see if I've made a post on any of the social medias.
Yeah.
But with that out of the way, well, before we leave, Brian, is there any ideas on what to do next time? We've done 2 reviews. I think we should do discussion something.
I think we should do a food review.
A food review?
Yeah.
Of what?
I don't know.
Oh! Actually, that's kind of a cool idea. I will run this by you after we end the episode, because I think this will be cooler if we don't talk about it on there.
Okay. All right.
So, without further ado, I am David.
I'm Brian.
This has been Talking Toku. We will see you guys next time. So long.
Bye. Drive safe.